The Atlanta Braves, who I absolutely cannot stand, have made their first move this offseason, acquiring starting pitcher Chris Sale from the Boston Red Sox in exchange for Vaughn Grissom, and they also get some cash from Boston in this deal as well. In this video, I'll leave my take on it as a Mets fan and how annoying it is to see the Braves continue to get better and better while the Mets just get a bunch of minor league players. I'll also touch on this from an Atlanta Braves standpoint and from Boston Red Sox standpoint as well. If you enjoyed this video talking about other teams not named the Mets, just reacting to other big moves all around Major League Baseball, make sure to hit the like button at the ballpark. Comment down below, what are your thoughts on the Chris Sale trade? What other moves do you think the Atlanta Braves should make? What other moves do you think that the Boston Red Sox should make? I want to hear what you guys think about how this deal went, because I think all in all, it's going to turn out to be a good deal from both sides. If you're new here, you want to make my day, you can subscribe. It would be greatly appreciated, because at least it would be something to make me feel a little better, because obviously the Mets are not going to make me feel any better as they continue to just be asleep at the wheel and doing absolutely nothing to get me excited for next season. And if you are subscribed already, I mean, you know the deal. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell a stranger. Make a Google account for a pair of red socks that you have, or any color socks. You could actually make a Google email for them and subscribe to the channel, just saying that, these are my socks account. So let's talk about the deal. So Chris Sale, there definitely was a good chance of him getting moved, with his contract coming up to a close pretty soon. He does have the option year after this year, and with the money he was getting paid and the state that the Red Sox are in right now, it definitely made sense for him to be a guy that would be moved. Now, yes, the New York Mets certainly could have acquired a guy like Chris Sale. It's not like the Atlanta Braves had this unbelievable package. Vaughn Grissom is a solid player, don't get me wrong, but this is a move that the Mets certainly could have done if they wanted to. We talked about Chris Sale on the Mets Weekly podcast probably about a month or so ago, and he was a guy that he really wasn't too high on my priority list. He wasn't a guy that I was really clamoring for. That was a guy I felt the Mets need to get. And it's not because I don't think Chris Sale is a good pitcher. I mean, I definitely think that he still has something in the tank. He definitely can still be a solid pitcher. My main concern is his health. And I think, again, with what this Mets team needs right now, I think health has got to be number one because of the lack of depth that the Mets have. You can't commit to Chris Sale, and if he's not healthy, you don't have other guys who can step up and fill in. So that's why I really want the Mets to focus on guys that can make those 30 starts a year, 28 starts a year, something like that, that they could count on every 5 days, because I just feel that the team not only needs to get better in the starting pitching rotation, they also need better depth. Really, they just need to get better everywhere. I mean, that's just the way you feel about the team right now, being under 500, missing the playoffs. We talk about all the time, but to me, they were more than just a Chris Sale as far as what they needed. Obviously, Yamamoto was the priority, but still, I think that Chris Sale wasn't the perfect fit for them. Atlanta, on the other hand, this definitely makes more sense for a team like them because they already got their 1-2 punch lined up. It's Spencer Strider and Max Fried. The Mets don't have a 1-2 punch like that. They just have a 1 in Kodai Senga. And to follow it up, the Braves also have Charlie Morton coming back yet again, another solid pitcher who's going to be out there for you every 5 days, which the Mets, maybe have it in Quintana, but I definitely would rather have Charlie Morton over Jose Quintana. And Chris Sale is just an interesting guy because, when he was at his best, he was one of the very best pitchers in all of baseball. I mean, this is a guy, coming left-handed with that interesting arm slot, nasty stuff. I mean, he's a guy that, a few years ago, everybody would want. But unfortunately, injuries have really changed everything for Chris Sale. You look at the number of starts he's made the past few years. You go all the way back to 2019, he made 25 starts. You didn't see him at all in 2020 with the COVID season. Then in 2021, 9 starts. 2022 only made 2 starts. And even this past year, only made 20 starts, which is okay. But really, I mean, that's about at least 10 starts you're missing. He hasn't been on the mound every 5 days, which to me has to be the ultimate concern. As he's entering an age 35 season, it only gets harder to stay on the field. So that's the other thing that always concerns me. And his stuff is not exactly where it was before. He could still be a good pitcher, but he's not going to be a guy that's finishing top 10 in Cy Young again. But for the Braves to get them for a guy that was right now just kind of hanging out in the minor leagues after the incredible season that Orlando Arcia had, that really drove me nuts as a Mets fan, because where's our guy that we trade from the Brewers who was okay and then turns out to be great? We never do it, but somehow Atlanta always finds the magic. They always find ways to just make players incredible that you just wouldn't believe it. They do it constantly, and it always drives me nuts every time because the Mets can never do it. So since they had Orlando Arcia, they're like, oh, you know what? Vaughn Grisham, who needs him? We can just trade him. I mean, who wouldn't want a guy like Vaughn Grisham? Here's a guy who's going to be 23 years old in a couple of weeks. He's a solid hitter. He plays the middle infield. I mean, he's such a great player that every organization could use. So it makes a ton of sense for me for Boston to pick him up because he just fits their timeline better. And he's just a better fit right now for them than Chris Sale is. And one of the other pieces that I wonder about is that with the Red Sox acquiring Lucas Giolito yesterday, I mean, he's a guy that I just made a video about earlier this week about him being a good fit for the Mets. Boston picks him up for a reasonable deal. Again, something the Mets could have done, but decided not to because they only like signing minor league contracts if it's not Yoshi Yamamoto. We'll see what other pitchers they get. But I wonder if the Red Sox getting Giolito made it be like, okay, now that we have Giolito, we can definitely trade Chris Sale. I'm not sure how much that actually impacted the decision, but I just do find it interesting that the very next day after getting Giolito, Chris Sale is gone. I look at this trade as a win-win because, again, the Braves gave up someone who right now is in their minor league system to get a player who's going to be in their starting rotation. And the Braves, they have the ability to kind of take a risk, take a chance on a guy with high upside. That's like, okay, if you get Chris Sale, who was pretty close to what he was, I mean, that's an amazing acquisition for them. Meanwhile, on the Boston side, you get rid of a deal that was kind of expiring, a player that was getting a little older, and you're able to get a lot younger, and a player like Vaughn Grisham, who fits your team pretty good right now. And then, again, for the Mets side, I just want to see something. At this point, I just want to see anybody sign somebody to a major league deal that's not Luis Severino. Again, just get me look forward to something and make some fun videos and things like that, because right now every day it's like, oh, Mets are looking at this guy, oh, he gets signed. So Mets are looking at that guy, nothing happens. Mets are looking at this guy, nothing happens. Like, I'm just waiting to see something happen. So we're going to get into January pretty soon. We'll see if it picks up for the Mets. I really hope so, because again, there still is a lot of work that needs to be done if they want to field a competitive team and actually get back in the playoffs, which really should be the goal here. I mean, you don't have Steve Cohen to not make the playoffs. That just doesn't make any sense to me. So I really want to see them kind of step it up and really get things going, get some more quality players on board. Again, real major league players is what I'm looking for. Again, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts on the trade. Let me know what other videos you want to see. Again, be on the lookout. Big Mets prospect video coming out January 10th, the yearly tradition that I make every year. So definitely stay tuned for that. Happy New Year, everyone. And until the next one, be safe, be smart, and let's go Mets. Please get some players.